Yep, back another video talking about Ubisoft once again. Um, because big news just came out that anybody could see coming if they wanted to. Well, let me read it. Embattled, Ubisoft forms subsidiary for its IPs like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six Siege, or Rainbow Six, with the help of 1.6 billion Tencent investment. Ubisoft has created a subsidiary company based on its Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy Rainbow Six Siege brands with 1.6 billion, approximately 1.2 billion investment from Chinese megacorp Tencent. Well, I'm not going to read this whole thing because basically it's just repeating the same thing and breaking it down again. I've already read it. Basically, what this is saying is they're Ubisoft is saying they're not giving away Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. If Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six does good because of Tencent's management, uh, that means Ubisoft also succeeds. So basically, this is Ubisoft finally admitting what we all knew, that things were worse. Things were just as bad as people suspected. Assassin's Creed Shadows dropped, and a lot of people thought they were saying, oh, it hit 3 million players, which it did. But 3 million players is not copies sold. You also got to count how many people are buying it on Ubisoft Plus. You also got to count all the streamers they had to pay to play their game, because that's not free. All them streamers were sponsored to play their game. And you got to look at all that, and do I think it made profit? I think Assassin's Creed made profit. But the thing is, people really underrated how much AC Shadows needed to succeed in terms of a video game. I've always said it needed to be Elden Ring talk. It needed to be God of War Ragnarok, Red Dead 2 type of talk to save Ubisoft from having to sell out or rent their IPs out. And as we see, that stands true. A lot of people ran to defense of AC Shadows soon, and and the thing is, like, maybe AC Shadows was actually very profitable. I've always said AC Shadows could have been profitable as Assassin's Creed game, but it was never going to be profitable enough to save Ubisoft. After games like Star Wars Outlaws, Skull and Bones, what's that game? The Ubisoft Prince of Persia game not succeeding as much as they would. Failed NFT games. The shutdown of X Defined. There's no way out of all them games I just named that Assassin's Creed could have saved them. I don't even know if Wukong level numbers would have saved them, because you still have to make video games after that. And yeah, I've read this. Basically Tencent is saying they don't even care. Tencent doesn't care about their other IPs. Ubisoft still wants to be Ubisoft, is what this post is saying. They don't want to be Tencent. They don't want to be just sucked in and covered. What is it? They don't want to be devoured by Tencent, where Ubisoft is no longer a thing. So what they said is, oh, okay, well, we're just going to give you the keys to be a coach on a football team. We're going to give you the keys to make who gets drafted, who doesn't get drafted, who plays on the field, who doesn't play on the field. But we still want to be in charge. Or we still want to be we just want the title of Ubisoft. Because let's be fair. Ubisoft is Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. This is another thing. Layoffs are going to happen. There's been a lot of posts about people lying to Ubisoft employees about not getting laid off. They're 110% going to get laid off. If you're working on Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six, I do think that they'll keep people who are actually game designers, who know how to just basic game design. There's no real reason to get rid of people who makes the enemies, who builds the world, who even people who are making the enemy AI, as bad as it may be, they might see what they can do. But if you're not if the people who are very, very hands on, 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, they might stay. But the people who are decision making gotta go. Gotta go. The people who are doing the MTRs, the people who are making sure these games release in a buggy state, the people who are making sure who are doing this Ubisoft Plus shit, they might get rid of that. Who knows? They have 25% of Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. And you might think, well, 25% of 100 is not a lot. Well, that's not true because it's not just Ubisoft and Tencent. It's also other investors. Um, so I do think, and the thing is, Ubisoft Tencent is in the business of making money. I looked at their game list. They have a lot of mobile games. They also, I don't know how much they own. So, but these are games that they're working with. This is games that they're partners with. They got games like League of Legends Mobile, PUBG Mobile, and let's name a few. They got Warhammer Dark Tide. Once again, I don't know if they own these, but these are games that most of the games I just named make a shit ton of money. And with this announcement of Tencent investing 25% to these three IPs, I want people to know that sometimes you just gotta look with your own eyes. And I mean, there's so many times where a media will come out, it gets no ticket sales at the theater, it gets no numbers on Steam, it gets no plays on the radio, and people will look at you in the eyes and say, "Well, it's still successful." People have to use their eyes and ears to actually determine if a game's successful. And I've been saying that with so many IPs. Uh, but I don't know what this whole defense force is. It's not even defending the game. That's different. It's when you just straight up lie um, to a person for no reason. But this is the way it always was going to be. This is the way it's always going to be. And I mean, it's funny because Tencent 100% gets a say in what happens in going forward. Tencent's not a company to. I think you gotta understand. Tencent didn't buy these IPs to not say what the fuck is going to happen. They've already said it. A Ubisoft added back it by back it by greater command and boosted by creative capacities. It will drive further increase in quality of narrative, solo, and experiences. And spend it offering. Oh, hold on, wrong sentence. Wrong sentence. Wrong sentence. Well, anyway, I guess it's not on here. I have to think like, well, basically, people is always use your eyes and ears. Even during Veilguard, people told you the game was fine. Concord, the media told you the game was fine. And it's funny, it's so weird. When did we get to a time where people ignore their own eyes and ears? That a game could have lower player numbers, super low player numbers on Steam, and just ignore it. These are triple A games. It doesn't matter if your game is on Game Pass. It doesn't matter if your game is on Ubisoft Plus. It doesn't matter if it's on Epic Games. These are triple A games. If they drop day one on Steam, they have to have good numbers. Base 100K. We are in a time where these games cost so much. They have to have base 100K numbers in a week. But people are just so weird and so running defense for these games. It's not, stop running defense when it comes at the extent of you ignoring reality. That's all I gotta say. Now, Ubisoft still will work. Ubisoft still will be existing. They will work on all their IPs that are not theirs. But do I think? I think the big guys, the main guys, are going to these three IPs because Ubisoft really isn't. Ubisoft is Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow. So if you're not really hard attached to these, if your name isn't the first 30 in the credits of these games, well, who knows where you're going? Tencent doesn't care about your other IPs. Ubisoft don't care about their other IPs. The gamers don't care about your other IPs other than Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and the Tom Clancy Rainbow Six Siege games. Like, no one else cares about those. But yeah, Ubisoft has rented their IPs out, their biggest three IPs out. Um, do I think this is going to make Assassin's Creed games better? 100%. 100%. And what I mean by that is, I don't know if people are going to start to like them, but I do think the next game will make money. You gotta understand, no one puts 1.6 billion in an investment. Basically 1.25 billion in American dollars in an investment to not make money. Tencent has been here since. Tencent has been in the talk for years to get this company, mainly because they Tencent is looking at Ubisoft like, you have three of the biggest IPs in gaming and you're not making money. Let us do it. And that's basically what it is. Tencent is in the business of making money. Um, Ubisoft is in the business of telling players they're wrong. And now we see it. Now we see it. I have no doubt in my mind that Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six are going to be back to huge IPs. And guess what? It's a perfect time for Tencent to swoop in and actually buy them. There's no Assassin's Creed. There's no Far Cry or Rainbow Six sequels announced for the future. So this is Tencent's time to be like, all right, the next three big IPs from these are ours. The next three big IPs from these is a chance for us to make money, and that's what's going to happen. I really believe that. But peace. I'll send this video and goodbye.